Hello, my name is Hannah, and today we're making a modern contemporary house in Oasis Springs, and this one is like kind of based off of an image on Google, just because I cannot just like think of modern houses on the spot, so I gotta like look at the inspiration photos and just like kind of go off of that. So the shape is based on it partially, just like the very front, and then I kind of go off just because I need like a starter somewhere in my mind. It's just like I've done too many of other houses that when I try and do modern houses, they just end up looking like suburban houses that are kind of black and white. So gotta have something starting in my mind to make it not that. And so I did this, and I thought it looked really cool. And it's like kind of like a funky shape, so it's a little hard to make a thumbnail for it. But I haven't actually taken the screenshots or made the thumbnail yet. I usually do that before I record voiceovers because I usually get those done and then do this, voiceovers whenever I have free time. But I just put it off. I did this build like Friday or something, and then I got really busy, and then I also just didn't want to take the screenshots because it's kind of a hassle. Like, it's more of a hassle than trying to find time for me to do my voiceovers. So, I just kind of didn't do it. But that future me is probably gonna have so much fun trying to find an angle where the sun is not just like killing the house. So, the lot has horrible lighting. I put it right there. It sucks. It's ugly, and I use this like evening lighting to make it so you can see the house, but it still sucks. And so I don't know why I keep building on the lot. It sucks, but I keep doing it. I say that in like all of my videos. I think I said that exact same thing in the video or the voiceover I just recorded. But that's okay. It just happens. That's just my personality. If it sucks, I might just keep doing it. But it's fine. But I went with red with this apartment, or not this apartment, we're not on an apartment, house. I went red with this house, and I usually don't use red. I don't use red a lot. I use orange a lot. But red, I just don't like red very much. I've mentioned this like every time I use red, but I just think it's really, really bold, and so I don't use that a lot. But I thought it fit super well with this apartment, or still not an apartment, with this house. I've filmed way too many apartments this week, obviously. But this house, I feel like the red just worked with the black and white really well, and just like the items that I was picking out, and so I went with it. And so the outside is red, and that's what kind of like inspired the entire rest of it being red. But when I started the inside, I tried to do like some red, but then I went full red with like spots and like stuff like that, and like a bunch of like fancy art and stuff like that, and made it like really like sleek and fancy. And so it looked really cool with the red. And I didn't know like that I would use this much red and like it, but also like I realized that the red brick that I use outside, like I know that the brick on the outside lighting versus the inside lighting looks very different, but I didn't know how different it would be, so I definitely didn't use the brick from the outside inside because I just thought it was so stupid looking on the inside. It was like so much darker and like more of like a maroon color, and so I just didn't want to use that. So I used this other one that's like a square pattern that's just bright red, and that was more of the color I was going for, and that is more of the color that it looks like on the outside, but it doesn't look like that on the inside. So I just kind of went with a different one, and it kind of still does fit. And so I just made bright red walls like every so often, like I do with most like accent like colors, but it's just like bright red instead of like blue or like green or like the nicer colors to look at. And I also use these My First Pet Stuff couches, which I know I use sometimes a little bit more than I should for being a My First Pet Stuff couch, but I honestly kind of like them. I don't know why. They're just kind of like small little like, they kind of look plasticky, which might be why I like them, but they only come in a couple normal-ish colors, and the black one I use like all the time, and the tan one I think is the ugliest color ever, so I don't use that one. But this red one I just kind of like forgot about, and then I used it on this one. I was like, this looks really cool, but I don't think I'm gonna have the opportunity to have red couches that often, so gotta make the most out of this occasion. And so I thought it was really fancy. The bathrooms all look exactly the same, but that's like how I do in most builds, so it's probably okay. But it was really fun overall, and I thought the red just looked really well with this, or worked really well with this house. But that is about it for the house, so I'm going to move on to some of the things that I've done this week. For the first thing is that I had 2 tests on Friday. I had one, a math test over like it was like a retention test, like what did we like remember from the last test, and it was over like logarithms and stuff like that. Sucked. I hated logarithms. They were like mediocre. To be fair, I didn't do that badly. but I hate them so much. They're just so stressful, and also I just kind of forget how to do them, like, even when I'm doing them all of the time. They don't make much sense, and to be fair, I missed, like, the most important day of that unit, so, you know, that's fine, but my birthday was much better than whatever I was learning in that class, so it's fine. And then I didn't study very much because I just don't study because it doesn't work. I stare at the piece of paper. I just don't know how to study. It's never worked for me. I also don't know what I'm supposed to be doing because I kind of just look at the math problems and go, yeah, that'll probably be okay. And that's what I do with any class. I don't think I've ever successfully studied for anything, but that's okay. The only things that I can kind of study for is like language classes. That's just because I do it like all of the time. Is like learning languages is like what I do. Well, kind of, but I do that all the time. So I can kind of study for that, but I didn't. And then I also had a chemistry test, and the chemistry test was okay, but I just don't remember how to do molarity. I also think I was gone for that, to be fair, or also I just didn't remember anything because we learned like how to put them in like a singular like equation kind of thing, like we did with like conversions and stuff like that. I don't remember how to do that, nor do I know if I ever got taught that. However, I got by the test, I think, all right. To be fair, I haven't seen my grade. I'm not gonna check it now, obviously, because I'm recording a voiceover, but I checked like a day ago or something and I hadn't seen it. I got like a 92 on my math though. I did check that one. He gets my the test grades in much quicker than some of the other teachers. I don't know what he does. Like, apparently he doesn't teach that many classes because he gets the test graded in like a singular day, and some of the other teachers do it in like 4. So I'm not really sure if he just doesn't teach as many classes or something, or he just has a lot of free time. I'm not really sure, but I'm worried about the chemistry grade because I kind of just like made up the last like question. I was just like, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. We're just gonna do something, which is, to be fair, I did that on one of the problems in math, and I don't know if I got it correct or not because, as I said, 92, so I'm not really sure, but that is a good grade. So to be fair, I did that on like a couple problems actually, so at least one of them must be right because some of the problems that I made stuff up were like kind of a bit of points, so not really sure, but you know, kind of worried, but it'll probably be okay. But also this week, I thought I had a French test at some point this week. I could have sworn she said that we had like a big state French test, like one for like, I don't know, the people running it or whatever. I don't really care enough to figure that out. But we had one of those tests. I thought she said we had one like Thursday, Friday. Apparently I was very wrong because we don't even have one of the big tests. We have a singular little one next Wednesday, and it's over like fortified castles, which I think is really funny because that's the unit we're doing right now, and so, you know, it's very fun. But I could have sworn she said we had like one of these like quiz test thingies, and apparently I was very wrong. I don't know where I heard that though. I don't know. I'm not really sure, but I was just like kind of worried about it, and I told one of my other friends that's also in French with me. I was like, oh yeah, we have a test later this week, and they were like, no we don't, and I was like, yeah, I could have, and I was so like, I could have sworn she said that we had a test, but apparently I was very wrong about that. So, you know, that's okay though, because I didn't want another test. Like, I'm perfectly okay with not having a test, but, you know, apparently I was very convinced that there was another test this week. But I have nothing else to say about what happened this week, so I'm going to move on to like another thing that's not like my week related, which is what I normally talk about. But this is just like in general. So when I'm recording voiceovers, I have a bunch of speaking problems in real life. That's like not a secret. I talk about it all of the time. But when I talk, sometimes my body just goes, no, you ain't talking anymore, and I have to do like pauses all the time in voiceovers. You probably can't tell like all of the time because like there's one in the middle of my voiceovers all of the time just because I talk so fast and I run out of breath so quickly. That is not what I'm talking about. I will just like be in the middle of my sentence and I will just stop talking and it will be like I can't breathe. I don't know exactly why it does that. You know, really fun though. And so I just kind of have like this like, and I usually turn away from the microphone, and so because like I will like edit out if there's like a space in like that I can see, because I don't like re-listen to all my voiceovers because I hate the sound of my own voice. Despite the fact that I've been doing voiceovers for 2 years, it just still sounds weird, so I just don't listen to it. But I can see the space, and so I'll cut that out. But like when I stop, I have to turn around and I'll like exhale really violently. Like, it's not that I can't breathe, like I can breathe, but it just feels, it's like, no, you can't be talking right now. It's like telling me that I should stop talking, but I don't have any reason to stop talking. But I'm not really sure. It's probably tied to some of the like social anxiety stuff that I have, but it's just kind of weird because like I'm alone in my room, but I'm talking, which is the issue, that my body's just like, no, you can't talk, like you shouldn't be talking right now. And it's kind of difficult because like I want to be doing this, like my brain like knows that like this is what I want to do and this is what I like to do, but it's still just like, no, you shouldn't be talking right now. And it's kind of weird, and so I'm hoping it'll get better, but it does the same thing sometimes when I'm talking in real life. But I feel like it makes more sense when it does it when I'm talking to like actual people. Well, you're actual people, but like I'm not talking to you like in person, but like, so they're different in my mind, but apparently like my brain doesn't like automatically think that, so it associates with the, like talking with like something I shouldn't be doing, which is kind of really annoying. But I've been working on it for years upon years now, and so it's kind of getting better. My talking is better. To be fair, I couldn't talk like almost at all when I was younger. Like I wouldn't talk like at all. Like even if I wanted to do this as a kid, it would not have let me. And so, you know, it's kind of difficult, but I'm getting so much better with this. And so that's one thing I really like about doing YouTube, is that I'm just able to get so much better at speaking. And so, you know, I guess that's kind of just, it's really happy because I get to talk for longer, and also I feel like this like spaces that I have in real life happen less often. So I guess it's just, it makes me happy that I can like talk for longer, because I want to talk, but it just kind of doesn't let me sometimes. I guess some people won't understand that, but you know, this is just kind of how my brain works, I guess, and it's kind of stupid sometimes. But I guess that is about it for the video, and I'm going to probably end right here as it is almost screenshots time, and I've talked up to screenshots at this point. But subscribe if you did like today's video, or if you want to see more like this. But I do post 4 videos a week, so you can watch another video next time. Bye!